You won't believe how much pressure Toni Braxton has been under all these years. Even though she's a super famous singer with Grammy Awards and hit songs, her real life behind the scenes has been way harder than people think. After Toni's mum and dad got divorced, things were really tough for her mother. And guess what? Toni decided that she was not going to leave her mum struggling. She promised to take care of her no matter what. And she did. She paid for things like her mum's car insurance and even helped her get a car. But here's where it gets really crazy. None of her other siblings helped out at all. The only one who ever helped Toni take care of their mum was Tamar Braxton. That's right. While Toni was out here trying to keep their mum safe and okay, the rest of the family wasn't lifting a finger. Toni said that normally she wouldn't even talk to her sisters about money, but things got so stressful for her that she finally had to speak up. She was tired of being the only one doing everything, and honestly, it was taking a toll on her. Imagine being the only person in your family who's expected to pay for everything, while everyone else just watches. People who have been watching the Braxtons for a while already know the truth. Toni has been carrying her whole family on her back for years. All that stress probably didn't help her health either. Some even wonder if the pressure played a part in her getting an autoimmune disease. And speaking of stress, let's talk about her money problems. You'd think someone like Toni, who's sold over 70 million albums and made hits like Unbreak My Heart, would be super rich, right? Well, that's not exactly what happened. Toni actually had to file for bankruptcy not once, but twice. People love to talk about her money problems, but what they don't understand is that her second bankruptcy wasn't because she was reckless. It was because she got really sick. Toni revealed that she has lupus, and because of that illness, she had to cancel her Las Vegas show. That was a big deal because she was counting on that show to bring in money. But here's the part that made things worse. Her insurance wouldn't cover the cancelled show, so she had to pay for everything herself. And putting on a show like that costs a lot. The lights, the band, the hotel rooms, the staff. Toni had to pay for all of it out of her own pocket. And in the end, she was left with almost nothing. People see these concerts and think the artist is making tons of money, but they don't realize that the artist is also paying for everything you see on stage. So even though Toni was making the world sing along to her songs, she was struggling to even take care of herself. If you thought things couldn't get worse for Toni Braxton, think again. After already going through bankruptcy twice and dealing with major health issues, Toni got hit with even more money problems. In 2019, the IRS filed a tax lien against her. That means they said she owed over $340,000 in back taxes just for the year 2017. And that wasn't even all. Just a few days later, the state of California came after her too. They said she owed another $116,000 in state taxes. That's almost $500,000 that Toni Braxton was being told to pay, all while she was still battling lupus and trying to stay healthy. And through all this, she was still the one taking care of her entire family. It's wild to think about, but while Toni was trying to hold everything together, some of her sisters were still expecting her to pay them, even when they were supposed to be helping her. Toni revealed that both Trina and Tawanda demanded to get paid when they worked for her. Meanwhile, Tamar, the only sister who helped with their mum, never asked for a penny. But Toni wasn't mad about paying her sisters. What really upset her was that even though she was giving them money, they weren't doing anything to help around the house or take care of their mum. She expected that if she was paying them, they could at least lend a hand when things got hard. But instead, they acted like it wasn't their problem. One moment that really showed how bad things were was when Toni said that Tawanda still wanted to get paid, even when they were doing family shows together. And not just paid like she was an outside employee, even though it was her own sister helping her. Toni even said it made her mad to find out how Tawanda was acting, especially since Tamar never charged her for background singing and always supported her without making things about money. Toni talked about how she just wanted her family to understand that everything didn't have to be about Toni's savings and loans. But it seemed like no matter what she did, she couldn't escape that pressure. The responsibilities were draining the life out of her, and it was clear she felt completely alone. Except for Tamar, who tried to step in and support her. And all of this stress, fighting, and pressure on top of her health problems. It wasn't just hurting Toni's wallet, it was hurting her spirit too. She said she never used to talk about how heavy it all felt, but doing the reality show made her start saying what was really going on. You could tell she was tired of carrying so much on her shoulders while feeling like her own sisters weren't doing their part. Now, as if everything else going on in Toni Braxton's life wasn't enough, her health, her money, and her family drama, her love life started making headlines too. Around 2016, people started noticing that Toni was spending a lot of time with Birdman, the famous rapper and music executive. At first, it seemed like they were just close friends. Toni even said that Birdman had been there for her for over 15 years, showing up to her plays, baby showers, and concerts. But then something changed. In a 2018 interview, Toni shared that Birdman had always secretly liked her, but never said anything because she was married. Once she was single, Birdman finally told her how he felt, and they started dating. For Toni, being with Birdman was a big deal, not just because of who he is, but because of how safe he made her feel. She said that when she was sick, he always made sure she was okay, and he didn't make her feel like she had to hide her illness. For someone battling lupus, that kind of support meant everything. Birdman didn't just tell Toni he loved her, he showed it. He even bought her a Bentley truck, and later on, he proposed. Toni posted pictures from their engagement and said he called her by her middle name, Michelle, which made everything feel more personal. They were planning a wedding, and Toni said she wanted it to be vintage and beautiful, like something out of The Great Gatsby. They even had 2 wedding dates picked out, but each time something came up. Mainly drama from the Braxton family, which kept getting in the way. But here's where things get really strange. Even though they couldn't get the wedding planned the way they wanted, Toni and Birdman secretly